I just finished reading The Kite, a 2003 novel by Khaled Hosseini. It's a portrait of Afghanistan from the early 1970s to about 2002, told through the eyes of a young man named Amir as we watch him grow into an adult. I want to avoid talking about some of the main controversies of the novel, such as its portrayal of interethnic relations in Afghanistan and its very controversial scene. Instead, I want to talk about how the book reads very differently in 2022 than it did in 2003 because of its ending. Spoilers, by the way. The novel ends around 2002, shortly after the Taliban have been overthrown, and there's an optimistic tone to it, essentially talking about how finally Afghanistan might be able to pull itself back from the brink. I don't think I need to tell you why that reads very differently in 2022. What a tragedy. Now, to be clear, I think the intervention in Afghanistan was a bad idea, $2 trillion wasted. But reading this novel, reading the author's clear desire for a better Afghanistan, it's hard not to feel sad when you think about the fact that, well, it was all for nothing. It was all pretty pointless. 20 years later, the Taliban came back to power, and here they are today, oppressing Afghanistan just like they did in 2001. The scene in the book where a adulterer and the woman he slept with is executed in a football field, yeah, that could happen again. It was all for nothing. I will never think that the intervention in Afghanistan was a good idea, but it's really hard not to have empathy for the Afghani people after reading this book, and it's really hard not to feel sad about how things ultimately turned out. The Kite Runner, a novel that was intended to end on an optimistic note, which now seems like such a futile, pointless tragedy in the eyes of the modern reader.